Okay, it looks like we're live, so let me go ahead and post them notifs. Them good old notifs. That should be good on this end, and now I need Twitter. Good. Just saw like one post on Twitter before I went off of it. Right, and Stream Manager. So we'll wait a couple minutes for people to start rolling in. Don't want to get like deep into it, like only a minute into stream, and then people go like, "What's going on?" And I'd be like, "You should have been here sooner," because not just rude. Yo, Chris, thank you for that host. I very much appreciate it. Yo, Pogfish. Ooh. One of the greatest fighting games of all time. Oh, you mean what is it? God, I was gonna make a joke there, but then I failed miserably. Because I can't remember the name of the fighting game now. It was like War of Gods or something. It's that one where like you can literally fight as Jesus in a fighting game. It's pretty weird. Real excited to see how it ends. Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I mean, a lot of people would definitely say Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I know a lot. Well, I know a lot of fighting game people would probably say if Street Fighter wise, they'd probably say Street Fighter Third Strike. That's probably what most people say. Shrek Fairy Tale for free down. Not for resale. No. No. But, no, hopefully you're doing good tonight, my friend. Thank you for coming by. And since, you've been quite invested in this playthrough, hopefully you're looking forward to the end of it, my friend. Still on all these crisps. They're sour cream and jalapeno flavor. Okay, sour cream I can do. A jalapeno, that sounds like really weird. Like a really weird addition onto like the sour cream. I would definitely try it, but I don't know if I'd get like a bag myself. Like it'd have to be like somebody else who already has a bag and they're like, "Hey, you want to try one?" And I'll be like, "Sure." For those of you who are here early, of course, stay hydrated. Very important. And I hope to God we don't have like a 5-hour stream on our hands tonight. But given it's very, very small research I've done, I have not looked at it, but like this final half of the game, it took somebody an hour and a half to complete it. So I'm basically going to be like, all right, so 2 hours for me, probably. And then you do stream on Saturday, and if you do stream, we get Pokemon. Yep. Pringles sour cream and onion, but with a spicy kick. Interesting. The sour cream and onion, I have eaten sour cream and onion Pringles, but if I usually eat them, I'm probably eating Lay's instead. Lay's is the brand we usually get because we're cheap. We get the variety bag chips, where it's basically like, instead of just getting like one big bag of a specific flavor, you get like a box and then it comes with a variety. And the sour cream is usually in there. I was kind of almost about to say that, except not Pringles Lay's. I was on a huge barbecue Lay's kick, like throughout most of my teenage years. And then now that I've gotten, like, ever since I got into like late high school and college, like I can eat them, but they don't taste the same. It's so weird. Put it on the shelf for you. It was like, wait a minute. What is this? What is this label that's on the back of this game case here? Ugh. Yo, I've been enjoying me playing this game so much. If only Michael would continue streaming Phoenix, right? I literally had to tell him last night. He's like, "Oh, I'm hearing about the devil. Probably some spoilers I don't need to know about." I'm like, "This is literally the last case of the game. So yeah, if you intend on playing this, I'd peace out." Frickin' yike, bro. But alright, I think another 30 seconds and we'll get into it. Don't want to dilly-dally for too long. Getting $40 extra dollars out of the game. That was, I mean, I guess in that sense you looked out. Like, basically, you should have known, because you could have looked at the case and seen that it said not for resale on it, but obviously, like, you know, yeah, hindsight's 2020. I mean, that's, if you're not looking for it, then obviously, like, at that point, it's just a bonus, really. But alright, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, you could have? Did they not take a picture of the back? I thought you were saying earlier that you missed it, so I assumed that there was a picture of the back. The back was not pictured. Okay, well, never mind. Alright, let's get into it. Ah, yes, Data Phoenix, just like Data Sora in Kingdom Hearts Recoded. Don't play that game, by the way. It's kind of nast. How much did you miss yesterday? So I think you left during this session, like this data thing where we were like going back in time from the past to the present. About the most I can summarize, and I wish more people were here because I'm probably going to get this question a whole bunch. Which, I mean, I guess is fine. This is practice for me reiterating what we went over. So we went through this, and here are, like, a couple of the things we learned. For one, we learned that, Zack and Valiant, neither of them killed Magnifi Grammari. Magnifi killed himself. And that's what Valiant said. But Valiant was trying to pin the crime on Zack so he could get the, so he could become the heir to the Magnifi Grammari, secret or whatever, that stuff. Yo, Antico, what's going on? How you doing? These people say to stream to show up. Nah, it's just how it would be. I mean, people are also probably busy doing their own stuff right now. And again, I don't usually stream tonight, so. But people were like, you can do it. I was like, okay. So yeah, we learned that Magnifi Grammari killed himself. We learned that the person who asked to make the forged evidence was, oh my gosh, Christoph Gavin, so Clavier's brother. He was the one who asked to make the forged evidence. Why he asked to do it, we don't know that yet. But we just know that he asked to do it because he gave Vera the nail polish that was her lucky charm. And we also learned, I guess we also learned that Apollo is Trucy's older brother. Yep. And I have a feeling we're probably going to be going back through, hopefully reiterate most of this in the actual case itself, but you never know. Most of it will probably come up. She didn't call him Kronk. Wow. And then he talks about the dump truck. Well, Noah's back to him old self, that's for sure. Welcome to court. 7 years ago, all leading the one verdict. A verdict which you must decide. Is the defendant Vera Misham innocent or guilty? The courtroom doors are opening. The trial awaits. Are you ready to begin? Oh. Okay. I figured I was just gonna do that. Something inside me, rising, surfacing. Is that Apollo? Alright, no, a little bit TMI. Something important, lost long ago. It's close now, so close! Does Phoenix's hat say Papa? Yes, I think. Goodbye, Cameron, but it's opposite day. Today's not opposite day, but we'll pretend like it is. Yo, Peekaback, goodbye. How are you not doing? Yeah. Alright, back in the real world now.
Court is now in session for the trial of their mission.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution's ready to rock.
Prosecutor Gavin, how is the defendant? Their emission's condition?
Acute atroquinine poisoning. According to her physician, she could die at any time. Thus her absence from the courtroom today. What? We can't put her on trial without her being here. It is unusual. They should wait for her to get better and do it then. It's so bureaucratic of them. That's being a little harsh. Can't delay the trial any longer, or they risk having no one left to try. A trial without a verdict can only cause grief. The records of this case and experience tell us this. Apologies to the defendant, but the show must go on. Right. If Vera dies, the trial will be cancelled. I'm not going to let that happen. Mr. Wright told me everything that's been going on behind the curtains all these years. I'm going to get Vera her innocent verdict while there's still time.
Very well, your opening statement, Prosecutor Gavin.
The prosecution's case is unchanged by recent events. Why did Vera Mission succumb to the poison? Because she couldn't live with the guilt of what she'd done. But Vera was poisoned with atroquinine, the exact same poison that took her father's life. Which better confession could you ask for? Being the killer, she would have to have access to the poison. Significant, since it's rather hard to come by.
That is true.
In other words, I can see no need for further discussion. We could have had our verdict yesterday.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no objections, I see no reason to postpone a verdict.
What we need to worry about isn't the verdict, but the trial itself. The defense holds that Vera Misham is the victim, not the killer. If that's so, then you have to prove something. She was in court giving her testimony before us. How do you propose her killer poisoned her? Oh, and incidentally, it would be nice if you told us who her mystery killer was.
The prosecution's objection is sustained. I ask the defense to prove its claims to this court. Tell us how Vera Misham was poisoned.
I've got two things to prove here. Who did it, and how. Which to hit first? So what's happening Saturday that me and Josh aren't invited to? Nothing. I'm just gonna be a little bit busy on Saturday. I'm not like going anywhere. I look at the bottle. Thank you for the pogfishes. No. The nail polish Mr. Wright gave me. This must be a brand symbol. It's an A drawn like a flower. It's refreshing to see a brand with a simple, clear design like this. I think I want to go with how. How did the killer poison Vera Misham? We'll focus first on the method used.
Any comments before we begin, Prosecutor Gavin?
Not a bottle or container of poison was found on the defendant's body.
I see. So the vector of poisoning is unknown. Is the defense prepared to prove how the poison reached Vera Misham?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. What method was used to poison Vera Misham?
Storming on the weekend anyways. Oh, I didn't know that. Got a theory on how she got poisoned? So I think it's a nail polish, and I think it's because she bites her nails, right? Like, that makes the most sense to me.
What's this? My, what a beautiful bottle! I'd like to give it to, I'd like to give whoever designed that a hand.
Is that nail polish? It's colorless. Ah, something the matter? No, nothing at all.
So the killer put poison in this bottle and made her drink it.
As Prosecutor Gavin has told us, this is nail polish.
Nail polish?
It's like paint for nails. Know any women with red nails?
Oh, my wife has red nails. I see, so she's been painting them all this time.
But okay, now you know what? That's fine. Whatever. Let's recall yesterday's trial. Remember when Vera was testifying to the court?
Court is now back in session.
Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off. Whenever Vera became nervous, she had a habit of biting her nails.
Her nails! Oh!
Prosecutor Gavin, when the prosecution had Vera examined, did they check her nails?
Bailiff, have them check the defendant's nails at once. Mr. Justice.
Yes.
Do you know who did this? Do you know who put the poison in that nail polish?
Yes.
That bottle belongs to Vera Mission?
Why do you ask? Know someone else who might have a bottle like this?
No, just checking.
You do be old though, yeah. Pretty old, bro.
You are about to accuse someone of poisoning that bottle of nail polish. Please dispense with the chatter. You realize the weight of this accusation? Here, let me show you.
Understood, Your Honor. No problem. I know what I'm doing this time.
Then let us ask, who poisoned Vera Mission with her nail polish?
It was this dude!
What's this? Christoph Gavin!
What's your game? My bro, there's no way he could do a thing like that! You should know that better than anyone else!
Indeed! He is behind bars!
I know. However, that doesn't mean it was impossible to do what he did.
What?
Ask yourselves when he put the poison in the bottle. It could have been yesterday. It could have been a month ago. Maybe it was a year ago? Or perhaps it was 7 years ago.
What? Christoph Gavin had no motive for killing the poor girl. It's simply inconceivable.
Prosecutor Gavin doesn't seem to think so. That face tells me one thing. Christoph Gavin's own younger brother doesn't find it inconceivable at all. Yo, hi, Ender. How's it going? What did you miss? In terms of this stream, we really haven't gotten that far. Right now we are proving how Vera got poisoned of the atroquinine and who it was that poisoned her. We literally just said it was the nail polish that poisoned her, and it was, Christoph, who was the one who gave her the nail polish. Also, I am dropping frames. Oh my god, wow, that's a lot of dropped frames. Please stop dropping frames. Oh my god, oh my god. Stop, 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 stop. Oh my god. I'm not continuing until I see this thing be green again. Have any of the characters been sentenced to death in this series? Technically, yes. The frames are fine. On my end, it says I have 4,000 dropped frames. I guess I'll continue. Frames are fine. Bro, how does it say 4,000 drop frames then?
If you feel that there is clear and pressing need, then we may have to summon Christoph Gavin from jail as a special witness.
Fine. I've known for some time that an impenetrable darkness lurked at the bottom of this. A darkness that has swallowed even myself. Everything has been fine all times? Okay, well, this definitely happened last night, and I could see why it didn't, like, affect anything there, because it didn't show any frames were actually dropping. But, like, here, like, I am at 4,000 frames, bro. This is really weird. But I guess I'll keep going. A darkness that has swallowed even myself. Okay, the defense's wish is granted. Let prisoner Christoph Gavin take the stand.
Bailiff, begin proceedings to call a special witness. The witness is Christoph Gavin, currently residing in solitary cell 13 at Central Prison.
Ah, Your Honor. How nice to see you again.
It's been quite a while, hasn't it?
To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? It's not every day I'm summoned from my solitary cell. In fact, it's never. I think you already know, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Ah, Mr. Justice. I hear you've been doing quite well for yourself. Ah, why do I feel like somehow he's still my boss? Stiff upper lip, Apollo! You can do it! Does this bottle look familiar? Ariadne nail polish? Why, yes, I use it myself. As did the late defendant, I hear. She's not dead yet. And was there something concerning this bottle you wished to ask me about? Yo, hi, Empress. How's it going? I think I said hi earlier, but I didn't ask. Hopefully your day was good. How was it? And hopefully you're having a good night so far. Yo, 20 bits for your little pog champ. Oh, okay. Yeah. I admit, I respect her for her taste in nail polish. Her taste, indeed. This nail polish was how Vera Mission was poisoned. A true quinine, was it?
You're well informed about the case, Mr. Gavin.
But you know, thank you for those 20 bits. As you know, fun of the big cup for the heart as well. I appreciate it. Day was good? Good. Even in solitary, much comes to my desk, and I have nothing to do but read. Well, Clavier, maybe you can explain this. You're being accused again, by him, again. Ah, and you agree with his accusation, do you? I thought you were wearing a necklace, but it's just your headphones. Yes, I have headphones. You just had chicken and shrimp Alfredo? I just had, I had a chicken fettuccine Alfredo, so. Great minds think alike, I suppose. Which I guess, since we're on the topic, what did everybody have for dinner tonight? I literally just said what I had, so I hope my day was good as well. I napped like a whole lot because I didn't sleep well last night, and I had to be up early today. But I got everything I needed to done, so it was fine. Battered fish bites. Okay.
Let's hold a proper trial, shall we?
Have any leftovers? Nope, I ate it all.
Christoph Gavin, your testimony, please.
I'd be delighted.
The charges against you are quite severe, Mr. Gavin. You are suspected of the poisoning of the defendant, Vera Mission. Please testify this matter to the court.
Owning the same nail polish does not a murderer make. I have been in solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poisoning, the meaning of which should be clear. The prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Surely you aren't going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning her father too.
Well, I'm afraid the defense's claim is sounding rather unlikely.
Naturally. For one, I don't even know the Missions. Isn't that so, Mr. Justice?
Very well, Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination.
Accusing Christoph Gavin, my ex-boss. But I know he poisoned the Missions. The question is, when could he have done it? Not to mention, why? Monkey pokes his forehead. Yo, he looks kind of mad. Oh, there's a scar on his hand. Here we are, what happened? Honestly, not a lot. We were literally just like, I was just taking a look at that, although I probably need to just press him first on everything. See if there's any new testimony. Tell me, is this nail polish expensive? Ariadani is a nail polish of the highest order. Naturally, it's fabulously expensive, but it is made in extremely limited quantities. And you and Vera just happen to both use it. That can't be a coincidence. I'm guessing it is not a coincidence. Huh? It's simple. Ariadani is the best nail polish one can buy, correct? Then if one wanted the best nail polish, one would buy it.
That makes sense. Why, it's a bit like my feelings toward my brand name gavel here.
And my silk top hat! Are we all done showing off our refined tastes?
Please continue with your tasteful testimony.
Can't you still make contact with the outside world in solitary? Ah, so we had an accomplice on the outside. Is this your latest accusation? I am allowed a certain modicum of letter writing. But the contents of those letters are closely checked. It would be extremely difficult to send a hit request. Prosecutor Gavin's on the warpath, isn't he? Yeah. You think so too, Tracy? I bet I know why. He must be nervous with his big brother watching. Maybe that's a weakness I can turn to my advantage. Are we cool with that? May I continue? I had to wash my bowl. I don't think I said anything important, probably. Pretty sure that scar turned into a skull? What? Really? The defendant is not dead yet. There are no known cases of someone surviving a troquinine poisoning. You seem to know a lot about atroquinine. Yo, Noah, thank you for those 5 birthday bits, even though it's not my birthday. As you know, fun at that big cup fills on my heart as well. I appreciate it. I know a lot about a lot of things, which is why I suggest we pick up the pace. Or else, you'll be the short one defendant, for what she's worth.
The witness will refrain from speaking ill of the ill.
My apologies. Shall I continue? Prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father and then attempted to poison herself. There had no reason to want to commit suicide. And also, who would commit suicide by doing their nails? Yo, Empress, thank you for the 10 cupcake bits. As you know, filling up my big cup fills up my heart as well. I appreciate it. Go back on it. He wasn't the only one who knows that. Plus, I played this before. Well, the answer is quite simple. Basically, allow me to explain, beginning with, why did she do it? The answer is quite simple. She couldn't live with her own guilt. Next, why did she use nail polish to poison herself? This too is simple. So she could die doing something that she liked. Something that she liked? Once she saw that the trial wasn't going her way, she knew she would die. And it's not that easy to bring poison into a courtroom.
Noah, what do you keep doing this for?
Your bottom lip hurts when you touch it? Well, that's not part of your good day, but yo, Noah, thank you for the 50 bits. It's almost like the daily 50. But thank you, Noah, for the 50 more bits. As you know, fan of the Big Cup as well. I appreciate it. Must I explain further?
I believe that's clear enough. Crystal clear now.
Wow, the two brothers together is like a 2-man wrecking team. They could use a little more teamwork, though. Surely you're going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning Father. Okay, so this is the thing that we think is was where it was. And I thought it would be here too, but both Vera and Mr. Mission were poisoned with atroquinine. That really can't be a coincidence. The defense is repeating fallacious statements based on conjecture. The prosecution requests concrete, unambiguous proof of the witness's crime.
Objection sustained. The defense will...
That's not beans! That's not beans!
The defense will please present concrete proof.
Yellow! Oh, did you miss what I did today? Oh, maybe I guess that's what I said. Real quick, I'll say that really all I did was I woke up early because I had to do some car maintenance, and then I had to go run some errands. And then I came back and then I napped all day because I also didn't sleep very well. But that's besides the point. Other than that, I had a pretty alright day. And thank you, Yellow, for the 500 freaking bits. It's very generous of you. I very much appreciate it. And as you know, filling up that big cup fills up my heart as well. Thank you so very much, my friend. Also, yes, hello, Bello. These are all free bits. Yeah, no. I have a feeling, especially because I am a ads for bits watcher myself. Yeah. Does President Gavin seem strange to you too? It's like he's all grown up. I think that's how prosecutors are supposed to be, actually. Though he is acting different than usual. I'll bet it has a lot to do with his brother Kristoff being in the room. Well, let's make this testimony count, Apollo. Right. Quick and painless. A bracelet should do the trick. Okay, I'm questioning my ex-boss. His testimony seems watertight, but he's lying. I'm sure I'll be able to see something, as long as I focus. Okay. So, it was... there? I didn't notice, like, it turned into a skull. Oh my gosh. I literally did not notice that at all because I like started scrolling back up to his eyes. Dude, freaking nice catch, bro. So if you want to know more about ads for bits, I recommend you, I think you can only do this on desktop, by the way. I don't think you can do this on mobile. If you click the bits icon and you go to, I believe it is buy bits. I don't think I can really reach it here because it's like you can't use bits on your own channel or whatever. But if you go to buy bits, then it'll have all the prices below, but just above that, it'll have an option, or it should, it's different for everybody, but it should have an option where it's like, watch these ads in exchange for, at minimum, like 5 bits or whatever. And usually you can click that if it says, watch now, I think is what it says. And then you can cycle through those about probably 10 times. That's about like the average I usually get. And then you, and yeah, you get free ads, or you get free, you get free ads. You get free bits that you can spend on other people's streams. And I recommend to people that you do this so that you can support your favorite streamers. Which, by the way, Mr. Noah said, gotta fill back up that cup. Thank you, Noah, for those 10 bits. As you know, fun of the big cup as well. I appreciate it. Got 30 bits from ads this morning. Everyone be stealing them. I actually have not. I don't think I watched any ads for bits this morning. No, that's a lie. I think I got to watch like 3 or 4, and that was it. Try again later. Yeah. So a lot of people have most luck in the mornings. Is when I see the most bits, or the most availability for ads for bits. Gotcha. Although I have been getting some in the afternoon, which has been really weird, but besides the point. Also, okay, so it's saying that I'm dropping frames again. I know that it's weird, and you guys are saying that it's not, but yeah, please let me know, chat, if I actually do start dropping frames, so that way I can pause and I won't, you know, I won't skip over anything that's integral to the plot. It was you who killed Drew Mission. A bluff worthy of your new mentor, Mr. Wright. Or Mr. Wright. Oh, really? But, you see, I saw it. Why, when you said her father, too? Your hand tensed unnaturally, and a little devil appeared to give me the news. Ah, is that the little devil? And let's assume, for the sake of the argument, that you saw me being tense. What does that mean? Are all tense witnesses guilty? And tell me, was Drew Misham fond of the nail polish, too? Sorry, but there's more than one way to poison a man. You don't need nail polish to get to someone's mouth. Ah... Then I must be very talented indeed. You see, Drew Mission was killed on October 6th, while I was already in my solitary confinement cell at Central Prison. If that's not an alibi, then I don't know what is. I will scream frames. Yeah, I really do need a safety word command. So that way it'll specifically like be like dropping frames or whatever. we got time zones on what exactly that morning time spans. So for me, well, I know for Michael, New Type Arcanine, who usually watches bits, he can get bits pretty much as early as like 6 a.m. in the morning. And then I can usually view them until like 1 p.m. And that's all in Central Time. That's so like, I would say anytime like super early morning to noon your time is probably like the safe zone. Yeah, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's probably like the safest thing. But no, thank you for 20 more bits. As you know, filling out that big cup fills up my heart as well. I appreciate it. Yo, freaking Christian, the hot chocolate. How you doing, my bro, my brother? Hopefully you're doing well, my friend. We are in the finale of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Yellow, why are you doing this? Hopefully you've had a good day, my friend, and hopefully you're having a good night too. And welcome to stream, and gotta get some good stuff going. You literally can't keep the big cup full because Yellow keeps bombing it and sneezing. Yo, Yellow, thank you for those 100 bits. I do know for another big cup, so might as well. I appreciate it. Okay. But you found a way, all the same. And I found it too. This is how you poison Mr. Misham. Do I specifically have the stamp? Yes. I'm sure this commemorative stamp requires no introduction. The night Mr. Misham died, he was seen writing a letter. A troquinine was found on the stamp, Mr. Gavin. So am I to understand this stamp was the murder weapon? Chris! Chris! Good to know I got someone of mine spam bits to add support for emotes. Dude, no problem, man. Again, and it's a really easy way to get bits to and support your favorite streamer, so I completely recommend you do that. Stop. Stop. I'm trying to play a game and explain things properly. But yo, Chris, first off, thank you for 100 bits. Thank you very much, my friend. Very generous of you. And as you know, filling out the big cup for tomorrow as well. I appreciate it. And Noah afterwards saying, don't mind me, because he wants to fill back up the cup. Thank you, Noah, for the 50 bits. As you know, filling out the big cup for tomorrow as well. I appreciate it. Okay. Yes, you are. Oh, and yes, the stamp was found in your prison cell. Oh. Ha! Got him! That is all, Your Honor.
Order! 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 Poison on the back of that stamp!
After Drew Mitchell was killed, someone paid a visit to this witness's cell. Phoenix Wright. Daddy! That's when he found the stamp. You made Drew Mitchell write you a letter. That's how you killed him! What? My. You've upset my poor brother to the point of uselessness. Allow me to clarify this matter, Justice. All you need to do is recall witness Spark Brushell's testimony. Not this dude.
Well, that's the thing, see, after he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
His desk drawer?
Yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp, end quote.
He was looking for a stamp, ergo he had no intention of using this stamp. What are you getting at? What I'm arriving at is that this commemorative stamp was in a frame. It were mere coincidence that he used it that night.
That would seem to be the case.
Or perhaps you mean to suggest that I can somehow manipulate coincidence? No, Yellow, don't alright, bet, please.
He does have a point. How would this witness know if the victim is going to use that stamp? Without that, he couldn't have planned the murder.
What? Aw, curved mouth. Really, Claudia, you should be seeing through the weak, blind bluffs by now. He's right, though. How could anyone have known Mr. Misham would use that stamp that night? Least of all, Christoph Gavin locked away in his cell.
Well, it seems the defense has run out of things to say.
You assume he had something to say in the first place. I believe the defense's bluff has been called. The defense's bluff? I'm not sure I agree with you there, Christoph. Claudia! Honestly, I wanted to believe you. but the defense wasn't trying to get away with a bluff. You were Kristoff, or you were Kristoff, better spelling there.
What are you saying, Prosecutor Gavin?
Forehead. What was your accusation again? It was, that this poison stamp killed Drew Mission here. To which my brother responded thusly. There was no way to know when Mission would use the stamp.
Yes, that's right, which is why it couldn't have been planned.
Tell me, it needs to be planned. Why? Why couldn't it have been a coincidence? The defense's case is simply that Drew Mission died by that stamp, that's all. Coincidence? Kristoff, you tried to slip out from under his accusation by changing the subject. If that's not bluffing, what is it? What are you up to, Clavier? I could ask you the same question, Kristoff. Ha! I silenced the defense with the fewest words possible. It's called efficiency.
But, Mr. Gavin, that's impermissible testimony.
Very well, I shall take his claim head on. Justice. What? You accuse me of Drew Mission's murder, yes? Then allow me to ask you, what possible reason could I have to kill a painter?
Apollo, but if he's talking about a motive...
Indeed. It's hard to see how an attorney could come to want to kill a painter.
Now there's something. Why didn't he bring up the motive from the very beginning? Unless he was afraid it was a battle he might lose.
So, what does it mean?
It means there might be a weak spot. Maybe I have some evidence to prove a motive.
A motive for murder. This is a vital, if not the most vital element in this case. Please consider this when making your statement.
I'd say about this vital. That's pretty vital.
Well, Mr. Justice?
I'm going through with this no matter what. Understood, Your Honor. I'd like to present evidence.
Then let's see what you have for us. What reason did Kristoff Gavin have for wanting to murder Drew Mission?
I would have to say it's because of the... not the letter, because of this, the notebook change, they're forged to make look like a page. Yeah, that has to be it, right? Let's... Yeah, it's gotta be this one. Kristoff Gavin's motive becomes clear when we consider why the stamp came to Drew Mission's studio in the first place. I have bits on standby. Gosh.
And why was that?
Forgery, Your Honor. Go back 7 years. Drew Mission accepts his first job creating forged evidence.
I've seen that before. A page from a diary, wasn't it? Magnifique Gramarye's diary, or Gramarye's diary.
Ah, when Attorney Phoenix Wright lost his badge, yes. This was the evidence he presented, to his loss. This evidence is a fake, yes, but did Mr. Wright request the forgery to be made? That was never proven! The defense attorney on that case was Phoenix Wright, who, other than him, drunk with the prospect of victory, could have done it. And why would they? Just out of curiosity. Do you remember this letter? This is the first page. And this is the second.
Those were presented in court yesterday. This letter was sent to Drew Mission by the client who requested that forgery.
That enclosed stamp was none other than the poison commemorative stamp. Drew Mission drew his last breath just the other day. However, the motive for his murder was already 7 years old. 7 years old? The client who requested this forgery was very cautious. He tried to erase anything and anyone with connections to the forgery.
To keep them from talking?
But he made a mistake.
The stamp was a picture of my favorite magicians, so I kept it. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much.
The killer's time bomb was delayed. The poison stamp was sealed within a glass frame, where it sat for 7 whole years. Forehead, do you understand what you're telling us?
The one who schemed up the forged diary page was the one who poisoned the stamp, and it was Phoenix Wright who presented the forged evidence 7 years ago. Adding the two statements together, the one who schemed to kill Drew Mission was none other than Phoenix Wright! Sorry, but that's not how this is going to go down. Oh, then how will it go down? I checked through the records on this case when I found this. 7 years ago, just before the trial began.
Oh boy! I'm, here!
What's this?
I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with spiky hair.
And one more thing. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. I understand I'm asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough! Phoenix Wright was put on the case the day before the trial started. I have a funny number of bits left, and also, could you maybe turn it up a little bit? Sure thing, Noah. That is just fine. I thank you for that one bit. As you know, fun of that big cup for as well. I appreciate it. Okay, I'll turn it up a little bit. Look at that sploosh! Okay. Let's try that. Let's try that. Yellow! Thank you so much for 100 bits. You donated an awful lot in this stream, my friend. Thank you so much for your generosity. And as you know, filling up that big cup fills up my heart as well. I appreciate it. Thank you, Noah, for the 20 more bits. Hi, Noah. How's it going? As you know, filling up that big cup fills up my heart as well. I appreciate Yellow Assassin. Yellow has a mission. That's all I'll say. He didn't have time to request a forgery. The day before! Now, here's the question. Just who was Shadi Enigmar's previous defense attorney? No! This can't all be! But it is all true. There was another man, a defense attorney with a badge on his collar. It was you, Christoph Gavin! Order! 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 What is the meaning of this witness? I mean, defendant, former lawyer! Let me begin by denying this. It's easy enough to look up, Mr. Gavin, and impossible to prove if you can't. Attorneys are registered within the court the day before the trial begins. In other words, no record remains in the court. How exactly did you intend to prove Phoenix Wright's claim? That would be difficult. I'm afraid this line of inquiry won't yield. Forehead, are you sure you don't have evidence?
What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks clammy.
Evidence! Evidence that shows this man, Christoph Gavin, requested that forgery 7 years ago. Clavier! Just prove it! Clear up these doubts now, or I swear, I'm off this case.
He must have thought of some evidence, Apollo.
Prosecutor Gavin looks like he's in physical pain. That darkness. I have to pull that darkness out of him. The proof is the only way I can. What proves Christoph Gavin's link to Drew Mission? Well, Mr. Justice, you claim Christoph Gavin requested a forgery of Drew Mission 7 years ago. Prove it. It can be proven. Simply ridiculous. Why even discuss it? This evidence does not... Are you telling the truth, Apollo Justice? I am. Then I say we give him the benefit of the doubt. Very well, but if you're wrong about this, be prepared for a penalty. Your Honor, you do the defense an injustice. Mr. Justice is clearly passionate about his claim. Should the penalty not match his passion? Oh my god! I haven't given a penalty like that in a long time. Well, Mr. Justice. Fine, Your Honor. All I have to do is prove any kind of link. Something that ties Christoph Gavin to Drew Mission. And I have something that clearly does the job. Very well, Mr. Justice. Present your evidence. Show us the link between our witness and Drew Mission. Red envelope?
Oh, wait, would we want the yellow envelope? Because we didn't know who sent the red one. But the yellow one was found in his cell. That's what I was about to say. I think rather than the red envelope, it'd be the yellow envelope. This evidence proves there's a link. That scrap of paper. I'm afraid I can't let you submit that. Is there some problem? There is. How could you possibly have that? You couldn't.
Hey, that's Daddy's handwriting!
Mr. Wright's handwriting! What is the meaning of this?
Ha, I see now. Yes, of course.
What do you mean, of course?
I just remembered I had a visitor yesterday. Phoenix Wright came to my cell. Except I wasn't there.
Phoenix Wright!
When I returned, I saw he had something of mine in his possession. Of course, I had no intention of letting him get away with reading my private mail.
Mail? You mean this letter was in your cell?
No. However, it appears Mr. Wright has yet to be cured of his bad forging habit.
Well, if it's a forgery, this is not a very good one. Handwriting's terrible.
This is Mr. Wright's reproduction of what was written in the real letter.
Reproduction?
When Mr. Wright visited Christoph Gavin's cell, he brought with him a small video camera.
What?
He recorded his entire conversation with you, Mr. Gavin, and the contents of your personal mail.
Regardless, this mockery of a piece of evidence will never be accepted by the court. Evidence based on a video a man with no authority whatsoever claims he took. A man who happens to be an ex-attorney suspected of forgery. Prosecutor Gavin.
Prosecutor Gavin? As embarrassing as this is for me to say, I'm afraid my brother is incapable of making rational judgments at the moment. Your Honor, your decision, please.
The defense's claim is denied.
What?
Only actual evidence is permitted in a court of law. Please remove the defense's evidence from the record.
Better luck next time, Justice.
Well, that sucks. Well, we've certainly taken a detour from our cross-examination, but the defense appears to be lacking proof. I'm forced to end the cross-examination of Christoph Gavin at this point.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, we need Phoenix in here.
Apollo, do something!
I'm thinking, but without evidence, I don't have anything I can use on him.
Very well, this ends the special witness's cross-examination.
The show's over, yet the crowd screams for more. Only now do I understand why.
Prosecutor Gavin!
Frankly, I'm relieved. This has been bothering me for 7 whole years, and I'm tired of the whole youthful angst scene. Now's our chance. Let's clean out the family closet here, Christoph. Clavier, you're spinning out of control! Calm yourself before you say something you'll regret. Spinning out of whose control? Mine or yours? Take a moment to consider everything you've built. Your reputation as a prosecutor. Your fame with the masses. You could lose it all, Clavier. Look at that beautiful cup. Yes, sir.
Apollo, did you see that? He's trying to press Prosecutor Gavin.
Prosecutor Gavin, try to remember what's really important to you. You amuse me, air forehead. I couldn't forget what's really important to me, even if I tried. In fact, I haven't, not even once, 7 years ago. Finally, you just couldn't resist, could you, Air Right? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. State your name and occupation for the record. I'm familiar with the trial. I've watched the video several times. Didn't you find anything unnatural about it?
Unnatural?
Well, you did seem unusually well prepared. I mean, Mr. Riot had only just presented his evidence. And the next moment, you call and drew mission. It was almost as if... What? Funny, it didn't even occur to me to wonder. But now that I do, I see there's only one possible explanation. Almost as if, from the very beginning, you knew Mr. Wright was going to present that evidence. Correct. I knew that if I applied the usual pressure, Phoenix Wright would eventually come up with that forged diary page. Don't do this, Clavier. I knew because you told me, Kristoff. What? No curve mouth? It was on the night before the trial. Clavier! Kristoff! Odd seeing you at the prosecutor's office the day before the trial. I won't be appearing in the trial, actually. Huh? Why not? I won't be facing off with you on your first trial, apparently. But in exchange, I brought information. Information? The attorney who will be there in my place tomorrow is not to be trusted. Don't even give him the benefit of your respect. Listen, I want you to call in a special witness. Then, I wondered about it all that time. I wondered about it at the time. Have I said I love this game? Have I mentioned that? No. You've never said that. Never, ever. Yeah. How did Kristoff know so much? Prosecutor Gavin. Kristoff! We were supposed to face each other in that trial. A fair fight, brother to brother. I deserve that much. You let me borrow the victim's belongings? You showed me all your research on the case. The victim's belongings? Which would have included Magnify's diary, wouldn't it?
Mr. Gavin?
My, Clavier, you disappoint me! You find trees, yet miss the forest. You're the one missing the forest, Mr. Gavin.
You can't sweep this under the rug. Not anymore. Tell me what was going on behind that trial!
Why not? I've achieved what I came here to do. I see no harm in a little reminiscing. Apollo! I think we're finally going to shine a light on the black belly of this thing, Trucy. We've done everything we could. I hope it's enough. 7 years ago, the day before the trial, I visited the detention center at the request of my client, Zach Grammari.
Two cards. One card. Showdown Town. Enough. You lose, Gavin. Thanks for the work. Now go.
I was going to say, if I haven't said already, stay hydrated. Which I know I did earlier in the stream, but I haven't reminded the people who are here now, so please stay hydrated. To be honest, I don't know what his reasons were to this day. As far as I could tell, he dismissed me at his representation, because I lost in a game of poker. Did it freeze for anyone else? Let me know, please! Yo, Aura Wolf, what's going on? Hopefully you're doing well, except that emote's a little odd. Okay, alright, I guess I'll continue then. I came to know the conclusion. Daddy used to say something. If you want to know a man, you have to compete. Zach wasn't watching his points, or the cards. He was watching the man behind the cards, Kristoff Gavin. Well, why you know like your emotes? It brings me fear. I couldn't believe it. Phoenix Wright, a second-rate attorney who relies on luck and bluffs. He dismissed me, and went with that pitiful excuse for a man. He deserved to die for that error alone. Hold it! So the one who requested that forgery was... Oh, I'm not admitting to anything. My point is, these two men shamed me, and I could not forgive that. Phoenix Wright and Zach Grammari both deserved what they got. So you asked Mr. Misham to forge that evidence so you could win. But then, when you were dismissed as Zach Grammari's attorney, you used your forged evidence as a trap. You fed me information about the forgery you made. Then you gave your dirty evidence to him. You're free to imagine what you will. My point is that all I had imagined came to pass. Everything went perfectly. Baby son from Teletubbies, kinda. Incredible. If I wasn't laughing, I'd weep.
Prosecutor Gavin?
Perfectly. You're mad, Christoph. Stop fooling yourself. What are you talking about, Clavier? Tell me, how did that trial end?
Cancelled when the defendant vanished.
Ah, I get it. So, Christoph, you've been living in fear for 7 years. What? You were afraid your forgery would be revealed and your reputation trashed. You couldn't leave things to chance, so you watched everyone involved with the case for 7 years.
You know, he always felt like he was being watched. That's what he said every day for 7 years. But I felt it too. Journalists sure he was being watched. End quote. Don't you wonder why Zach Grimrack got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me.
Wait just a minute. Zach Gramrai was seen by this reporter? How is this possible? Was he alive after being gone 7 years?
Finally. I knew this moment was coming. I just didn't think we'd get here so fast. Zach Grammari, gone missing for 7 years. Trucy's father.
What's wrong, Apollo? Go get him!
Right. Leave it to me. Allow me to refresh the court's memory. 6 months ago, Christoph Gavin was charged with murdering a mysterious traveler.
I remember him quite well. Shoddy Smith, wasn't? Poisoned in a Chinese restaurant. Tragic.
The details don't really matter now. What matters is that traveler was Zach Grammari.
What is it, Apollo?
Huh?
Keep going. We'll talk about it later.
Did she already know?
Someone please explain this! Mr. Justice, can you explain this?
It all started 7 years ago. The great magician Magnifi Grammari's death. Oh my gosh, I will never get that before the end of this game. Magnifi Grammari's death started it. Magnifi Grammari's death, and his student, Zach Grammari, the suspect. Whoever defended Zach in court successfully would be famous beyond belief. Thinking that, Christoph Gavin did the unthinkable. He forged evidence.
Drew Misham?
Actually, it was his daughter, Vera, who really did the work. You took precautions when you had that forgery made, didn't you, Mr. Gavin?
Precautions?
To keep people from talking, of course. These two know too much. Leave them alive and there'll be nothing but trouble. That's when you planned your poisoning of the forgers. A trochony, applied to a commemorative step. But luck was on Mr. Misham's side. The bomb didn't go off.
His daughter! She saved him by taking the stamp. I see.
But that wasn't the only bomb he set up. The Ariadne nail polish. The Ariadne nail polish. Of course. You noticed something when you requested that forgery. When Vera Misham is nervous, she had a bad habit. A tendency to bite her nails. Yeah, Clavier is like, alright bro, you're kind of a freaking moron, bro.
Ah!
That nail polish was her good luck charm.
She was almost kidnapped once. Since then, she's been... Well, you can see for yourself. She refuses to leave the house.
That person gave me a good luck charm when I absolutely had to go outside. It protects me.
Yes, apparently she received something. A gift. She won't tell me what it was. It was from that client. The one who wanted that note made.
It was his insurance.
Insurance!
As long as she lived quietly at home, there was no danger to her. But what if she had to go outside? If she ran into any trouble, she'd become nervous. And the nail polish would do the rest. His time bomb sat there for 7 years, and then they went off almost simultaneously. Yeah, right. It's like he's a good prosecutor. He's not one of the kind of jerkish ones. If you're finished, may I return to my cell now? I'm not accustomed to standing for such a long periods of time.
Mr. Gavin, have you heard a single thing we've said?
Oh, I listen quite closely to your little tale. Quite an entertaining piece of fiction.
What?
Clavier, surely you understand. We're back to the evidence, the lacking evidence. Nothing proves a link between him and the atroquine that took Drew Misham's life.
What about the restaurant? You killed Zach Kramerai to keep him from talking.
Josh. I killed no man of that name. Read over the report again, if you like. The victim was a traveler by the name of Shoddy Smith, about whom we know little else. You can't seriously think I knew he was that particular fugitive. Oh, well. I mean, there's also that. Dang. You hate to see it happen, bro. Josh! Josh!
Okay, then why'd you kill him?
I plead my right to remain silent. Remember, this court did not convene to put me on trial. The defendant's name is Vera Misham, suspected in the murder of her father. My trial's been finished for 6 months now. I was about to say, honestly, not really, but, like, it's just that if you haven't played Dual Destinies, I guess it's spoilers.
I'm afraid we have strayed considerably from our purpose here. The court concurs with the witness. Is it defendant Vera Misham who is on trial here?
No, but you were doing so good, Apollo!
As long as there are no evidence to support the accusation against him, this course of inquiry cannot find Vera Misham innocent.
Your Honor, Phoenix Wright spent 7 years collecting this evidence. Well, okay, then let me just, let me just do that. Yeah, just don't scroll up. I deleted the message. Honestly, it was an unfortunate slip of the tongue. I mean, if it was somebody else, it'd just be what it be. And I didn't think about it either, because quite frankly, Dual Destinies is an old dish game at this point. But yeah, just keep spoilers in everything in this series to a minimum. We'll leave it at that. That's why I've been kind of that's why I've been pretty vague when I'm like, oh, I see connections to the future games and stuff, but I haven't said anything about the future games, so hopefully I'll forget. We'll see.
Your Honor, Phoenix Wright spent 7 years collecting this evidence.
Yeah, and Yellow doesn't know a whole lot. Well, I mean, you watched the first game, right? When Michael was streaming it? You still don't get it, do you? Let us assume there was poison in the nail polish. Who, then, was responsible for causing Vera Misham to bite her nails?
What?
It wasn't me, I know that much. The one who brought that poison to her lips was you. What? What? Curved mouth! You didn't watch my call at the time? I swore you did. Evidence is everything. There is nothing more. No, you asked for that one.
I believe this discussion has reached its conclusion.
Your Honor!
Mr. Justice, you have performed admirably well for a novice attorney. I respect your partner, Phoenix Wright's determination as well.
However, without direct proof, you have nothing. Isn't that right, Clavier? Unfortunately, yes, Christoph, you're right. That is, you would have been right, until now. What? Did the news not reach your desk in solidarity? Or in solitary? One of the two. The eyes of the nation are on this courtroom today. This is the trial case for a new judicial system. That's right! I'd totally forgotten! The jury system! Just, you say?
The current judicial system has been deemed too closed off from society. This new system attempts to inject the wisdom of common citizens into the law.
Common citizens? Wisdom? Is this some kind of joke? What could we possibly gain by doing this? Entrusting our judicial system to a mindless emotional mob of irrational mouth breathers?
Common citizens have something called common sense. Common sense is not restricted by the law.
Nonsense! There's only room for two in this court. Me and the law! Keep the riffraff out, I say! Wow. They're not in the court, actually. They're watching everything by video camera. How can you allow this? Incidentally, the one responsible for making this happen was Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright! Oh no, oh no, oh no. So, everything was leading to this. Of course! Right. Right. Right! Oh, God. Oh, yo, his hair down. I won't accept. I can't accept. This is no court. Law. The law is everything. Law is absolute. You let ignorant swine soil your courts. Christoph, it's over. Clavier. The law is absolute. You can't be serious. What? Father, Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Odd. I thought you'd spend your life looking for loopholes. The law isn't absolute. It's filled with contradictions. And ironically, maybe your least favorite character ever? I mean, he's pretty suck. It's like that after you've had a shower. Good to know, Chris.
The law is the end product of many years of history, the fruit of human knowledge, like a gem polished to a gleam through trials and errors. It is the fruit we receive and pass on and face in our time. And it is always changing, growing, nurturing. It is our task as human beings.
Except for you, Christoph. You aren't changing. You've stopped. You're not needed anymore. I couldn't think of anything to say. Maybe because I still haven't seen enough. But someday I'll know what the law is, and I'll fight to change it if I have to.
I see no need to further prolong this trial. This began as the trial of Vera Mission, accused of murdering her father. The painter drew Mission. However, several other incidents were reviewed, and we seem to have reached a conclusion. Before this court declares a verdict, I await your decision. Jurists of the court, for the death of Drew Misham, how do you find the defendant, Vera Misham, innocent or guilty? I turn you now to consider this matter.
What? This ends the trial for this case. Only the verdict remains to be decided. Defendant Vera Misham is currently in intensive care. If a decision cannot be reached today, it may never be reached. Factors involved are simple. Did the defendant poison her father that night? If so, she is guilty. Or was there another reason for Mr. Misham's death? Did another person poison him? If so, she is innocent. The panel has been provided for each of you to input your decisions. That is all. Wait, what? New Game Plus Phoenix will you ever change clothes? Maybe. Please, wait! Yes, jurist number 6. There's something in the jurist handbook here. Persons involved with the case may not be jurists. That is correct. I've looked into all your dossiers. None of you are involved with the development of the case. With the development of the case? I see. Does that answer your concern? It's time for your verdicts. Make your decision in the case against Vera Misham. After 7 years, the truth is ready to be heard. Judge wisely. Judge well. Guilty! Yeah, so this weird segment was in the jurist area, I guess. Guilty. And I would hope to say not guilty. Oh, confirm. Okay, I see. Alright, okay. Hi, Orlando, thank you for the snaps and claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you, Orlando, for the snaps and claps. But yo, Orlando, hopefully you've had a good day today. Hopefully you're having a good night so far. You're on the tail end of this trial, I think. But hopefully you'll still enjoy it. And so a verdict was reached on October 9th, 2014. The first verdict under the juror system. Innocent by unanimous decision. The record will show that when the verdict was announced, Special Witness Christoph Gavin laughed. A laugh louder than any heard before or since. A laugh that echoed in the halls of justice, lingering for what seemed like hours. The mic didn't pick up the snaps and claps. Uh-oh. Does that mean I'm gonna have to, like, turn off the thing? Or actually, you know what? I can probably have a setting that's specifically for a mic that outputs the audio, and then a mic that outputs the snaps and claps. That's pretty, unfortunate, though. I'll have to think of that next time. October 10th, 8:30 a.m., the morning after the trial. In an intensive care ward, a true miracle occurred. Vera Misham opened her eyes. Let's throw everyone on the buses for fun? No! Vera! I'm so glad!
Don't cry, Apollo! I'm happy too! I'm proud! You did well, Apollo! When I thought about what if Vera,
Hey now, don't you start crying too! Sorry you had to see us like this. Vera?
Thank you so much, Apollo. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pressed you like that. If I hadn't, you never would have bitten your nails.
No, I was wrong. Staying locked inside like that, clinging to my good luck charm.
Vera,
When I opened my eyes and saw you, I finally understood. It's important to be a part of the world. To see things with your own eyes.
Looks like that poison had some effect after all. It killed off whatever was holding Vera back from life.
I knew you'd pull through, Vera. I mean, that's what Apollo was fighting for the whole time. Your future. I won't forget it. Here, let me thank you.
No, really, it's okay.
Oh, look! It's me!
Cute Trucy. Also, it says I'm dropping frames again. Chat, we good? It is literally like in the red. I just want to make sure. I was drinking Sonoco, dadgummit.
I love it! Thanks!
This is still so weird. Is that me?
She really captured your essence, Apollo. Well, I think so at least. That reminds me. Do you know where the other lawyer is?
The other lawyer?
Oh, you mean Daddy! Except he's not a lawyer anymore. It is my fault, isn't it? I'm sorry. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. No, it's okay. I'm through looking away from the things I've done. I hope I can look him in the eyes again someday and apologize.
I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that.
He brought all those things for me when he came to visit earlier.
You mean that stack of videos? Mr. Wright finished watching them all?
You know, I knew my real daddy was alive.
Huh?
I was there 7 years ago, remember? I was the one who helped him vanish from that courtroom.
Well, how?
I'm not telling. He promised me that day he went away.
If Vera didn't draw his forehead, that would have been good too.
We may not meet again for some time, Trucy, but know this, I will be watching, and one day I shall return. You're the next Grammar, after all. He said,
Oh, Trucy. In the end, he couldn't keep that promise, could he?
It's okay. Phoenix is my daddy now. If he can't really play the piano.
That he can't.
Oh, and I've got you too! Your voice is kinda loud sometimes.
Glad I made your list.
Hey, come to think of it, where is Daddy? The one who can't play. Do you know Apollo?
I think he said he had to meet someone.
I wonder. Maybe it's a new mommy. Oh, Trucy. Yes, Vera? I was wondering, could you show him to me once more? Sir Hat, was it? Oh, he's not been knighted. Yet! Here goes, do us an impersonation, Mr. Hat.
Objection.
Not loud enough, and I like Miss Magic Underwear better anyway.
That's Miss Magic, that's Magic Panties, Apollo.
Yeah, great. So, your memory's returned.
Mr. Wright, this was all part of your plan too?
I don't know what you're talking about.
When I lost my memory, I was reborn as Lamriel. But you knew my true identity, did you not?
Phone turned on and you're playing. Well, too bad!
That is why you chose me as one of your jurists.
Ah, you're thinking into it too much. Besides, there was no guarantee that regaining your memory would make you happy.
Of course it is a happy thing. For so long I thought I was alone. But now I know I have children. 2 dear children. I'm so proud of them. This too, I think, is thanks to you.
Are you going to tell them?
They do not know?
Nope. They don't know their mother. They don't even know their siblings.
I will go to them when the time is right. Until then,
Don't worry. I'll take care of them for you. They're very important to me, too. A little annoying at times, but still. I have to keep an eye on her, at least. Because I'm the only one who knows how she really feels on the inside. Your bracelet!
Yes?
I've seen a lot of mysterious things these past 7 years. But your bracelets were the strangest of all. Ah, full shot of Apollo Justice. I remember meeting him half a year ago now in Christoph Gavin's office. And then I met you, with two fates destined to intertwine. And I was there when they crossed. I'll never forget that.
Such a small thing, that bullet, yet it tore who I was away. "10 years ago, during our simple rehearsal. It was a miracle no one died, but I didn't survive that accident. That is why I left the troupe, my family. Now my memory has returned. I am myself once more. For the first time, I am glad to be alive, Mr. Wright."
Speaking of miracles, Vera Misham regained consciousness this morning. I can only hope she's as glad as you are.
It is a strange thing, fate. Sometimes a life is taken, sometimes a life is spared.
You know what I've been thinking? People don't die that easily, really. As long as they've got something worth living for. That's pretty much the end of the story. For now, anyway. Got a long way to go. This power of mine, well, it needs some work. But there's hope now. We'd lost it, but somehow we found it again. That's why people are smiling again. Hope. Yeah, I think I'll keep at this lawyer thing for a while. Oops, training time. Gotta go. Cords of steel. Here comes justice! Objection! Yep. You can't hear the clapping. I forgot that that's probably not possible. Oh, great. We got all this.
I'm glad you're staying with the agency, Apollo. It's like I found my long-lost big little brother. Oh, and don't you worry about Troop Grammar. Trucy's on the case. Now that I have this, thanks to Daddy.
For the Grammar, frankly, I have my doubts, but that Grammar, now that'll back him in.
Yeah. We also gonna hear the chest beating. I sort of figured, but I wasn't certain. Nobody said anything about it. It's not every day you get a trial that rocks harder than one of our kings here. That's why it's over. The Governors are breaking up. The news caused a run on tissues at supermarkets nationwide. You're the real stars now. I look forward to our next gem session. Yo, Empress, thank you for those 5 bits. As you know, none of them becomes over my heart. Whoa! I appreciate it. Probably get a game after a year now. It hasn't been a year. It's been close to a year, though. Well, it's finally over, you know, thinking about it. I've been a piano player longer than I was a lawyer. Poker Park time? No, not yet. Now that everything's sorted, I've got time on my hands. Maybe I'll take some lessons. Or maybe I'll take the bar exam. Again. No, stop it with the bits. Thank you to Lando for the 20 bits. As you know, for another big cup for them as well. And thank you to Noah for 5 more bits. As you know, for another big cup for them as well. I appreciate it. He's talking about Poker Park. Feels like a double ruse? What about this as a ruse? So, I was standing around eating snackoos the other day, when I got this crazy idea. What if they were golden? You could augment the crunch, or better yet, make them ding. Ah, the power of science. Although, the preservatives might not be 100% safe. YOLO! Thank you for the 100 bits. As you know, filling up that big cup fills up my heart as well. Wait, you were right? Wait, what about what?
Lightly invented, blah, 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 blah. The only thing colder in this restaurant is borscht. Ah, but it's a greater challenge being required. Then come to the hideout. You know who to ask for.
No, thank you for, how many bits is that? 26 bits. As you know, for another big cup fills my heart as well. I appreciate it. Thank you, Lando, for the hosts. I appreciate it. You gotta do all of them again? No! So, Kentucky pastry is getting back to the Eastern roots. Spread the culture and all. Yo, boss, culture time!
This is how we write roots, capiche?
but we're still about giving back to the people. Yo, boss, PR time!
And this is how we write people, alright?
Not that Walkie's paying any attention. Ah, kids. So Chinese characters on cake was a fly idea like 3,000 years ago. Believe that. Man, you want to make it today, you gotta keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's why I made the OG cracker. For real. I know I don't look like no cracker, G. What you want me to call it? The OG muffin?
Yeah. Cause it's not a cracker. Cameron is an OG cracker. Thank you, Noah, for that one bit. As you know, if it, I don't know all this world because something wrong. You asked me, there's only one food, and that's noodles. Noodles forever. I got a new one too. See, this time I just put a big chunk of salt in the bowl. Why pretend? Eldon's noodles is about the salt. Salt's forever. Anyway, so thank you for that one bit. As you know, found all the big couple of well. I appreciate it. This dude.
My exceptionally inquisitive nature has won me unequivocal adoration in my apartment. You see, they used to call me Wesley Stickler, then Wesley Stickly Hands. But no longer. I have a new name, one that reflects my true academic nature. Wesley Sicko, reporting. Yes, curiosity is the sickness, and I am the cure.
That's not a compliment. That's what I was about to say. I mean, Chris is definitely not wrong. Wait, but why are we talking about this again? Just a question.
I don't know how to thank you for all you've done. Light has returned to my life, and with it, joy. I may have lost years, but I have gained a treasure. 2 treasures, in fact. I will think of them when I write my next song.
Wait, I thought... Okay, never mind. She do what she wants, whatever. This is the credit says, Brusher, Brusher, Brushel, Brusher, Brusher, Brushel. Brushel here, back on the beat with another interview. How do I feel about things turned out? No scoop yet, but journalist confidence in mint condition. And cool. Ugh, why? No, please. Why is it that picture? Why? Why would you do that?
I've decided to keep painting. Originals only, of course. I suppose I'll have to see a bit of the world outside to figure out what to paint. But I know there are good people out there now. I've met them.
You put it away, put it in the fire.
The door is open. The world is waiting. Thank you.
Oh. She still loves the grammar eyes. At least it was the nose flare. I don't know, I'd say that the head thing is still disgusting. Aww. How nice. What a good ending. Our favorite cutscene is coming up? No! Okay. So, we are done with Ace Attorney, and we are 1 hour and 30 minutes in the stream, which actually, wow, that was basically just about the same amount of time that Tim took to do his. I guess it's because that last part of the trial wasn't actually, like, that difficult, so. Yeah, Capcom presents Marvel Comics. Okay. So, just to pad out the rest of the stream, just to pad out the rest of the stream, I came up with an idea, and I hope you guys like the idea, because I'm doing the thingy. I'm doing a thingy that we haven't done in a while, and it's it's something that chat can get in on, at least. Well, and actually, for those of you who have not played the rest of the games in the series, you might want to dip out on this. Maybe. That is completely up to your discretion. But, I think it is time that we do... I hope it's Jackbox. It's not Jackbox, I'm sorry. Is it switching to Monster Hunter? I guess I could, but actually, this is going to be embarrassing because I don't have 2 screens, so I'm going to have to... Yep! It is a tier list! Yay! So, I thought that now would be a good time as any to do a tier list of the Phoenix Wright games that I've played. I know that, again, what's like I said before, a lot of people are going to be not probably willing to watch this because there are games that people have not played, but I feel like doing this, and I feel like this is something that some of you would like to see, so I'm going to have a little discussion about it. But yeah, this is what we're going to be doing. Probably tier list of the Jackbox games. There probably is one of that. We could do that right after and not play Jackbox. But yeah, so this is what I want to do. And so actually oh no, wait. I just realized something. Yeah, I gotta go to the away panel because I gotta change the name of the stream real quick. I'm out, sorry. It's okay, Antiqua. There you go. You gonna be spoiling stuff? I will not spoil stuff as much as I can. I will try and avoid specific spoilers, but it's the chance of us going into things about the Ace Attorney series is very likely. So, but I will see you guys later. Also, yes, one thing I completely forgot about, and I was like, oh, this is a feature I need to add, is I added the emote thing to the away screen. So, there you go. you can spam emotes now, and they can explode all across the screen there. But, I think we'll probably go ahead and get back to that. I think the update went through properly. So let us go over to the desktop once again and hide it really quickly. Yep. Okay. Again, I really need to get that adapter for the PC. Hopefully that'll come, or hopefully I will order that sometime soon. But anyways, I'll stick around, and even if you do plan to pick up the games at some point, again, I am going to be as vague as possible when talking about things. And again, for people who definitely already know about the Phoenix Wright series, they too can like kind of they'll know what I'm kind of gauging my opinions off of. So, but I don't know if I'll be doing anything after this. If I do something, if I do something that's after this, that's like multiplayer related, I will probably make maybe not an @ here, but I'll probably like post something in the Discord to let you guys know. But this will probably at least take like 30 to 40 minutes. So let's go. So let us start off. And I'm going to be putting down the games that I have not played, which basically is every game that is not localized. So this one, and this one are the 3 games that I have not played. I know that this game for a while has had a translation, or a fan translation that you could play. I still would have liked if there's a physical localized copy. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but we'll see. So, but we're going to try and go in order of the actual Phoenix Wright games, and that's of the Phoenix Wright games kind of like down here, because this one's a spin-off, so this one really doesn't have like any time period in the canon. I don't think necessarily, except that it'd be after the first game, of course. And then this one I don't remember for certain. I know it's got a place like I think it's after Justice for All, right? Is when Investigations takes place, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyways, we'll start from the beginning, and then we'll keep going, and we'll go through, and we'll do the tier list as so. So I think the best place to start, of course, is with the first game in the series, Phoenix Wright. So, I think if you wanted to introduce somebody to Phoenix Wright, the first game is a really, really good place to start. Like absolutely, like, if you, especially because it's the beginning game and it holds up so well, Phoenix Wright, like, 1, Ace Attorney, is really good. All 4 cases of it are pretty solid. The final case, like most final cases, is also really good. So, but it does have some, like, quirks to it that are, like, that, I feel like the future games haven't replicated just because for its time it was so special. And so I think if I'm going to put this game somewhere, and I will try and order them, we'll probably reorder them by the end of the tier list. I think if I want to put this somewhere, I think I'll put it in B tier. And I want to say that, like, the gaps between the games are, like, not going to be huge. Like, just because Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is here doesn't mean, like, it goes from, like, S tier is awesome, A tier is great, and then B tier is just okay. No, it's like outstanding, awesome, or outstanding, excellent, and then awesome. It's like, it's still within a gap where understandably, like, you can still enjoy the games even still. Like, the gaps don't matter a whole lot necessarily, except for the fact that just actually putting them in order. So I'm gonna put Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the first game, at B tier, because it is not only a really good place to start the series, it's just a really phenomenal game in general, and it's pretty much stood up this entire time against, like, even all the rest of the Phoenix Wright games. And so the next one is Apollo Justice for All, or Apollo Justice Lord, Ace Attorney, Justice for All. This game can go in C. And the worst part about this is that there isn't anything honestly lacking with Justice for All either. I just think that some of the cases in Justice for All are definitely not liked as much as some of the others, some of the weaker cases in the entire series, and a lot of the characters they introduce, you know, they reoccur and they are good characters, but, like, I think majority opinion is that this game is like the, not the worst in the series, because, again, saying it's the worst is like saying, like, there's a worst, saying, like, there's a worst pizza or whatever. It's like, you know, all pizza can be good. It's like, it just depends on what pizza you're having. So, I mean, Justice for All is good where it is, and I think if you want my specific reason, I think it's because while the final case is good, it lacks a lot of impact that a lot of the other final cases have in the other Ace Attorney games. It is the worst in the series. I think most people would agree with that. And so we move on to Trials and Tribulations, which is going in S tier. Trials and Tribulations is... I want to sing this game's praises, but again, I'm trying to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. Let's just say that if you took any of the future games from Phoenix Wright, in my opinion, if you took any of the games from the future Phoenix Wright, and compared it to Trials and Tribulations, honestly, not many of them have recaptured, like, how, like, the intensity of the story that it creates, and how, and again, Phoenix Wright really likes to create a cyclical nature for most of its games. Like, whatever kind of begins the game also kind of becomes the end of the game. Look, I think I can talk about this just fine, especially because Michael did it on his stream. In Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, first game, there's the DL6 incident, which is very integral to basically, like, the entire plot, and ends up, you know, becoming a huge part of the actual game itself, not just being a flashback in, like, the final case. In Apollo Justice, literally from the first case in this game, what becomes a thing from 7 years ago within the context of the story ends up coming back in the final case. And let's just say something very similar happens in this game. And it's even better. It's even better, and it is done so excellently than, like, I feel most of the other games in the series, honestly. The Definitive Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, it is, you know, people will obviously swap around on this. But I think that it is honestly probably the best Ace Attorney game. And that's why I'm going to leave it in S, and probably nothing else is going to go in S. Because I think it is actually untouchable in comparison to the other games. Now again, not to say that anything below A should be like don't play this game or whatever. No, even in C, you should play Justice for All. But in terms of like comparing them to each other, it's just like it is above the rest, man. And it has one of my favorite characters, has favorite quotes, has favorite music. You all already know who it is. And if you don't know who it is, I'll just say it's the prosecutor of that game. And then you'll know who it is. So, let's continue, and we'll move on to Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. So I've got a little bit of bias for this one, or recency bias that I've played this. And I really do think, honestly, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney gets an A. It's really, really good, honestly. And I can go through all of the cases in this one because I've actually played this game on stream. First case is pretty good. Like, obviously, it's a, yeah, again, it's a kind of tutorial of it, but it has a really good twist. Your freaking mentor ends up being, accused of the murder, unlike, you know, just in Phoenix Wright games where it's like it's very obvious who the murderer is initially. And then Phoenix Wright ends up becoming your new mentor of sorts, and then you go through the second case, which I guess the second case, if that's probably like, we're talking about cases that were weak in this game, case 2 is the weakest. I think that's undebatable. Like even the first case is like, there's still a lot of good surprise to it. Case 2, honestly, just kind of felt very long-winded for not a simple outcome, but one that was just like, it was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, alright, that makes sense. Case 3, okay, look, Case 3 is amazing, but I don't want to hear that, the freaking, the guitar serenade ever again. That is the one thing in this game that, honest to God, kind of made me, but, it has Toothbrush Man C tier. You know what? You're right. Toothbrush Man makes it C tier. But honestly, yeah, I think, for even though Case 3, I think is better than Case 2, the Guitar Serenade, way too many times. Oh my god, they did not know how to pace that at all. They literally did not have to show it as many times as they did, and it was actual suffering. But then Case 4, really good, like, pretty excellent, like, very long-winded, honestly. I think that they probably could have made the present or the past and present parts with Phoenix Wright a little bit less long-winded. I mean, there was a lot you had to do, like, literally going back and forth in time. Like, there wasn't really a continuity to it. Well, I mean, of course there's a continuity to it, but like in terms of presenting evidence and doing all of that, like you could literally have to go to the future to get evidence to use in the past, which is a little weird to me, but regardless, I still think Case 4 was really excellent. Freaking the Black Cyclops, or Psyche-Locks, however you want to pronounce it. For those of you who don't know, the Cyclops are pretty important, especially in the games with Phoenix Wright in them. And those Black Cyclops, as you know, were never broken. Which of course, you know, kind of came to fruition at the end of the game where, you know, Kristoff had his whole, you know, freak out. But, it's one of those things where it's kind of become like a legacy thing. And there are more Black Cyclops, but it is a very different scenario in which it happens. And of course I won't spoil that at all, but just know, when you see those, it's a pretty big deal. Like, it's pretty nutty. In Case 2, it's the one with the weirdo kid with the hair. Yes, it's got Walkie Kataki, and he goes, yeah, yo man, and you're a real G, like that. Yeah, that kid. But it's your favorite song, isn't it? Nope. My favorite song in that game is the Pursue in Apollo Justice. That one. But yeah, I mean, I've pretty much went through the whole story of the game. Apollo Justice, just really good, even compared to, like, the other Phoenix Wright games. I think Apollo also is a very just good protagonist, as well. I think that he doesn't have the snark as Phoenix does, and because he's younger, he's like a little bit more prone to being like embarrassed, but you know, he's not necessarily embarrassing himself. They're almost like doting on him because he's like an amateur. He's like, "Oh, it's okay, little man. You're trying your best," and then Apollo just literally like flips the table and like, oh. With his cords of steel. Yo, Shay, thank you for those 4 cookie bits. As you know, for another big Kev Fuzzlemar as well. I appreciate it. Hopefully, welcome to stream. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. We are rating the Phoenix Wright games. If you haven't played them, be careful because we're trying not to mention spoilers here. I've been trying to be as vague as I can, but we will be talking about things here and there. So, but thank you again for the bits. Will I play the rest of the games on stream? Probably not, because I'm counting on Michael to play the rest of the games, because he played the first game, and I told him to play the second game, and he hasn't played the second game yet. I keep asking him why he doesn't play the second game, and he says it's because he doesn't have enough people to watch him play the second game. I'm like, it is entirely up to Michael to play those games. If you watch me play them, it's not going to have the same effect. Because I have played those games already. I have played literally every game here except for these 2, which are getting localized. So these 2 games I might play on stream. But the rest of these, the ones that I've already played, you would have to actually probably redeem a backlog to see me play them. But I am counting on Michael to play those, because again, he seems interested in the series. He just doesn't seem to be in any rush to get to them. But I hope he does soon, because again, the series is really great. If you're not going to watch it, if you're not going to play it for yourself, you can watch somebody play it and you'll get just about the same effect. But if you got the money, they're worth a purchase. I would love to see you play Ace Attorney Investigations 2. You know what? That makes sense. I might consider that too. It's so good if you get the translation. Oh, well, I'm sure it's like, it's at that point, it's like Mother 3. It's like one of those, it's like, okay, it's never coming. Just everybody download it. It's like at this point, it's basically become public domain. Snaps and claps. Hold on. Dang it. Alright, I gotta turn off the air conditioner real quick so you don't hear it in the background. Hold on. Where is it? Where's my thing? Because I'm using the RTX thing, and I need to... I'll have to turn it off. He has played Ace Attorney 1, Investigation 1. Yes, I have played Ace Attorney Investigations 1 on my own time. Where's the remote? I think it died. I don't know where it is. Okay, well, you're about to hear this in the background, so... Anyways. Here you go. You hear that lovely air conditioner? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. So that way you can actually hear the snaps and claps for the snaps and claps. And back to NVIDIA we go. I'm judging all your OBS scenes. No, you can't. It's not possible. But yeah, I have played Investigations 1, and Michael, well, I haven't played Investigations 1 on stream, just reiterating what Josh is saying. I have not played, again, the Great Ace Attorney, and I have not played Investigations 2. So if I were to stream any games, it'd be those. And Michael has played Ace Attorney 1, and that's all he's played. So again, I'm kind of waiting on him to do it, because I figure if anybody else wants to see it, that's what he'll do. Pester him. Do it. If you tell him that you want to see him play it, he'll play it. Like, after Nier, he might actually do it. So please, if you guys want to see it, which I want to see it too, if you guys want to see it, let him know. That's my 2 cents. Well, he can play it again? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it won't be the exact same. I mean, I don't remember everything from Investigations 1, but I still remember a good bit. Especially one scene, which, quite interesting. And so, okay, moving on. How did this get here? I think that was that order. Anyways, alright, so then we have Dual Destinies. Dual Destinies is actually one of the first Phoenix Wright games I played on my own. I think I had originally watched a playthrough of the first game, and then after that I played Justice for All and and Trials and Tribulations for myself. Of course, I did play through the first game for myself, but I had seen everything already, so, you know, kind of moved at that point. But as for a completely new Ace Attorney, that, of course, was my first one. I was later to the series, so that's what I ended up doing. So I went in completely not even knowing anything about it, and we had some fantastic new characters added. I think that Black Quill is extremely good. I mean, he's on the cover. This isn't spoilers. Black Quill is the prosecutor. I think he's a very interesting prosecutor in this game, especially story-wise. And then, you know, you got Josh's waifu. Just going to call you out on stream there. Athena. On stream. Does the ESRB not rate Steam games? It should. It should. And so you better move a polished justice up to 1? Nope. Nope. There can only be one in S tier, and it is Trials and Tribulations. That is my tier list that I am doing. 17 bits, yo, thank you, Noah, for the 17 bits. As you know, for another big cut for Myers. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Cameron. Very cool. Yes, you're welcome. But so, where was I? Train of thought. You told me about Apollo. Anyways, I think the weakest thing, and of course, and this is actually like two things between Spirit of Justice and Dual Destinies, which again, spoilers, kind of spoilers. If you don't want to hear it, I'd suggest like muting for a second, and then I'll like give you a signal, like I'll give you a thumbs up or whatever. So if you want to avoid spoilers, mute now. I think that Apollo's role in Dual Destinies was so underwhelming that honestly, he obviously had connection to the story, and of course that ended up connecting back to the end. But really, it's pretty much a shame that like he was basically just sidelined for the entire game. I don't really know why they decided to do that. I mean, obviously he was going through trauma and stuff about stuff. I'll try and keep it again. I'll try and keep it as bad as possible. I was pushing myself, yo. Do it. Bet. Wait. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Alright. Yo, thank you for the 100 bits, Shade. As you know, for another bit cut fills up my heart as well. I appreciate it. And no, yeah, thank you for the 100 bits, too. Anyways, yeah. What? No! No, why did you start a hype trend? No, thank you for those 100 bits. As you know, for another bit cut fills up my heart as well. And thank you, Yellow, for those 100 bits. Those coughing bits, these weren't sneezing bits this time. As you know, for another bit cut fills up my heart as well. I appreciate it. So, no, I'll read it there. Anyways, so back to Apollo Justice. I think Apollo kind of got sidelined a little bit. That disappointed me a little bit, and of course, again, the main reason they did it is so that they could give Athena, who was the new character, more screen time. Alright, they wanted to give Athena more screen time, and of course, the story largely revolves around her, because, again, new character, kind of the same with Apollo Justice. I'm trying to talk, guys. It's just he's on the cover, and then it's like, it's very underwhelming when you're like, oh, this one character is actually, like, not here for most of the game. Okay, that's fine. Anyways, okay, alright, I gotta catch up. Empress, thank you for the 100 cupcake bits. As you know, for another big cut on my wall. I appreciate it. Thank you to Noah for, why? Thank you to Noah for 21 bits. As you know, for another big cut on as well. I appreciate it. Thank you to Chris for 100 bits. Getting that emo for the hype train. As you know, for another big cut on as well. I appreciate it. Thank you to Yellow, or not Yellow, thank you to Noah for 379 bits. What a freaking generous dono. I very much appreciate it, Noah. And hopefully that sploosh worked out for you. And as you know, for another big cut as well. I appreciate it. And thank you, Shade, for 100 bits. As you know, filling up that big cut as well. I appreciate it. I love the corgis. You know I always do. Oh my god. Stop. I'm trying to talk about video game. Okay, here we go. We'll put it right here. I don't know. And Dual Destinies has some pretty good cases. Like, I don't think I don't think there are any phenomenal cases, and I also think that even though case 4 is a good case, I don't know if it's my favorite. I'd say that of, like, especially if I'm just rating games by case 4s, well, and it's not that case 4 is bad, it's a specific, well, actually, it's case 5 in this game. Yeah, because there's 5 cases. In case 5, my bad. In case 5, it's not bad. There's just one thing that I wasn't, like, completely into in the end, and that's all I'll say about it. A tier at least. I don't know, man. It has some good stuff, but Shade! What are you doing? Yo, Shade, thank you for the gift to Sprain Lord, to X-Dwell Alive, Pika Pack 22, Confused Person, and Animadia. I very much appreciate that. That's very generous of you. I can hear the dancing curbs in the background. He's a lovely, good boy. But thank you very much, Shade. I very much appreciate that. It's very generous of you. And to all of you who have gotten a beautiful sub from Shade, hopefully enjoy those emotes. And, yeah. Be sure to thank Shade if you have the opportunity. But yeah. So, you know, that's where we can leave this, so that way Josh doesn't get mad at me anymore. Anyways, and so, we have the last Phoenix Wright game that is a part of the main series, and it's Spirit of Justice. And honestly, Spirit of Justice goes up here for me. I think one of the things that actually carries this game a whole lot is the new setting of it. The setting of it in, oh shoot, where's the place? Karine. In Karine, like, it's such a fascinating world, and, like, the whole, like, the world building that they already create from the first case is such an interesting draw to the game. And I think that, while it's not perfect, I will say, I think that switching between Phoenix and Apollo is basically the way I would have rather Dual Destinies have gone. Of course, again, that's not the story that they were trying to tell in Dual Destinies. This is the story they're trying to tell in Spirit of Justice. But I genuinely think that Spirit of Justice has an exceptionally good story, pacing-wise. And it has some really good reveals. Like, in actually continuing the story, holy crap. Oh my god. It does a whole lot to reference the past games. And, like, there's some really, really good cases in that one. Specifically the last one, it's really good. Probably just below, like, Trials and Tribulations as, like, one of the games that I really, really enjoy, like, its final cases and, like, the prosecutors and all of the side characters who are an integral part of the story and all, like, Spirit of Justice, if it wasn't, like, the last in this series, this is probably another Ace Attorney game I would recommend for people to play, just as much as the first one. But, again, story-wise, you really should just start with the first game, and because the first game is already solid enough, that's really where it should be left at. But yeah. That last case, it is a freaking doozy, man. Like, oh my god. Oh my god, such a good case. Yo, thank you for the bunch of party Kirby's. Don't refill the cup. It's fine. You guys literally got the hype train to level 3. You'll get yourself your fantastic, beautiful emotes. And thank you guys very much for the support. I really, really do appreciate it. And of course, stay hydrated. That is important as well. Yeah, honestly, I think below Trials and Tribulations, like, it is Spirit of Justice, and it is a very small gap. I really, really, really enjoy this game, and after playing Apollo Justice, I can actually appreciate it even more. So there you go. But, anyways, is the dragon never yields, yes. I hope they get the bird emo. I hope I get the spider! And I think that's all I have to say on it, again, especially because this is the most recent game. I don't want to try and spoil anything in that. Of course, I've already said that I enjoy a lot of the side characters and the prosecutor and the story that revolves around Phoenix and Apollo, and about and that it has a new setting and it's in Karine for the most part. But it's a really good game, really, really good. And I think that because people are anticipating Ace Attorney 7, that means that we're probably going to get a really good game afterwards. At least I hope. So, update the backlog on stream, do it. Oh, I will. I actually had Apollo Justice as a currently played game, so I will be sure to do that. Thank you for reminding me. But we'll go ahead and move on, and we'll get to Investigations 1. So, Investigations, because it's a very similar game to the Ace Attorney series, but also very different. It's honestly a really weird take, because Mr. Edgeworth from the first game is the protagonist of it. It is not Phoenix Wright, and of course, again, Apollo was the new protagonist for that game, but honestly, it was a really cool thing to see it from Edgeworth's perspective, because Edgeworth is one of those characters like you really don't know a whole lot about until the end of Phoenix Wright 1. And I mean, I don't think that's a spoiler, because 1, Michael already streamed it, and 2, that game is even older, because it was on the GBA. So yeah, anyways, but Edgeworth is definitely one of those characters where it's like, oh, I'd really love to know more about it. And then this game comes out, and it's like, okay, awesome. It's also kind of, yeah, everyone getting the nice doggo, not a bird. Well, at least it's a good doggo. Wait, you didn't get, what? Empress, you didn't get one, but you donated 100 bits? Didn't you? Yeah, you donated 100 bits. What the heck? What the frick? Oh, okay. There you go. Never mind. Alright. Saved. Perfect. Alright. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Edgeworth is a very good protagonist, because we already kind of had him as an antagonist in the first game, but now we get to see a whole lot of his extra personality, and of course, good old Gumshoe is like a side character for the entire game. Freaking beautiful man, gotta love him, even returned in Apollo Justice, which was even better. And yeah, it's kind of weird how the cases work in this game. Like, you're not really in a court for most of them, and you get evidence and you use the logic stuff and all that, but it's like it's a very different game structurally than Phoenix Wright. And so I remember a good bit about it, especially remember one part about, like, it was kind of I'll say the thing I remembered about it most was the freaky part in, I think it was a was it a haunted house? It was something. That, yeah. If you know, you know. Anyways, Gumshoe's remix is so good. Yes, it is very good. But honestly, like, I think Investigations probably gets an A just below Apollo Justice. Of all the games that on this list that I remember the least about, it's this one. And that's not because it's bad. It's not because it's bad at all. It is because that I actually played this game quite a long time ago, and I think this was even before I played Dual Destinies, I think, because I ended up finding this game at GameStop, and I was like, oh, it's Phoenix Wright, but it's not. Okay, I'll play it. So that was even longer time ago, and I've seen people play the trilogy, so that's kept it fresh in my mind. I haven't seen a lot of people play Investigations for, you know, kind of obvious reasons. It's really hard to get nowadays, but regardless, I think it's a very good game. Bottom of A, I think is a fair place to put it. And again, the gap between Investigations and Phoenix Wright 1, it's not like that huge. Honestly, you could interchange them if you wanted to, but regardless, that's where I put it. And so, this is a game that probably almost no one has played. But I have. I have played Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. And I can tell you, with absolute certainty, that it goes at the bottom of C. So, here's the thing about this game. Is it like Until Dawn freaky? Well, no, it's not like horror or anything. It doesn't have like blood or guts or anything that would probably terrify you. But I mean, it's just it's a very striking scene. I'll say that. The only way I can describe it is that it's a game that takes two completely different things and they work well, but it can't decide which game it wants to be. It almost feels like at the game, and of course it's Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. Yeah, it's got the verses in it, but it honestly feels like for the most part, this game is at ends with when it decides to be a Professor Layton game and a Phoenix Wright game, and that switch doesn't work as well as you'd think it would. I think the dialogue in the game's pretty okay. The cases that you also get are just fine. Even the finale is like, for one, it's actually very, very easy to anticipate. And two, it doesn't have that much impact. It's honestly a lot like Justice for All's last case, where it's like, it's a good case, it's a good final case, it's not terrible by any means, but it's just like, okay, I guess I played through the whole game now. Awesome. So yeah, again, I don't think many other people can talk much on this game specifically. I think as an experiment, it did well enough, but I think if they were going to try and do something like this again, they really need to rethink about when they go through. I mean, of course, I'm trying to be vague for anybody who does want to play this game, because I do think it's worth playing, especially since you can probably play it or find it very cheap nowadays. I just think that at the end of the day for that game, it really needs to have more structure in how the game is played. Because in the middle of trials, you'll be doing Professor Layton puzzles. And that's really weird, because in Professor Layton, you basically just do puzzles whenever, a puzzle comes up. In Phoenix Wright, you usually just take care of contradictions and stuff with evidence. Well, no, sometimes you also have to do puzzles in Layton, and that's really weird, because sometimes you'll forget about some things, and because it's not evidence. So, but yeah. So, I think if we recap what we've had here, again, these 3 games I have not played. These 2 are getting re-released eventually, and I probably will play them. I don't know if I'll play them on stream. Same with Investigations 2. Maybe games I'll play on stream, since I know literally nothing about them. I don't even know any spoilers from them. Again, don't tell me that. I've tried to do the same courteous stuff for y'all as much as I can. So don't tell me anything about those games, especially since Great Ace Attorney is coming out next month, and I am very excited for it. But in order, what we have here, I know the one game that currently has most contention, of course, Apollo Justice. No one wants me to move it up to S, but I think the biggest one here is Dual Destinies, because Josh is very adamant about it being an A-tier game, and I'll ask you, Josh, where would you put it on this list? Like, not if you're not going to rearrange the rest of the list, specifically Spirited Justice, or not Spirited Justice, Dual Destinies, where would you put it? Would you put it like above Apollo Justice? Where would you put it? But in order, we have Trials and Tribulations, Tried and True Ace Attorney. Again, if you're going to play that game, I recommend you play the whole trilogy, but it is the best in the series. Spirited Justice is a excellent game, and the newest one in the series, which of course I won't try and mention too much about, but it does a whole lot to wrap up a lot of loose ends in the actual like overarching story that extends past the game that it's currently in. So I think especially for that reason, it has a lot of merit. And Ace Attorney Apollo Justice, actually very, very good. We just played through it. I don't think there's much else I have to say about that, especially since I just said all that earlier. Investigations, a very good experimental version of Ace Attorney with a new twist, and has almost an even better protagonist than Phoenix, because Edgeworth is just so suave, is how I can say. He's probably not as charismatic as Phoenix, but he's definitely like, you can almost relate to Edgeworth like a little bit more, because he's basically just the guy who's like, everybody, I'm surrounded by idiots. And I feel like we feel like that sometimes. What did you miss the end? Yes, you did, because we are now doing a tier list of the games. You would put it behind Apollo Justice. Okay. You know what? That's fair. I would understand that. So after Investigations, we have the first Phoenix Wright. Honestly, again, it's in B tier. That might seem bad. It's not. It's not at all. If you were to go from, like, God tier to, like, superb to, like, amazing, B tier is amazing. Phoenix Wright is, again, not only the game you should start with. You should start with the first Phoenix Wright, because that'll give you the most context as you're going throughout the rest of the stories and all of that nonsense. You can play them out of order, but just starting from the beginning will be the best. And it's still a really good game. Like, who would have thunk, even, like, after the series has gone on for so long and has got such great acclaim and fan feedback, like, who would have thought the first game would have been really, really good? Then we have Dual Destinies. This seems to be a more personal thing on my side. I do not think by any means that, again, it is a bad game. It's still in the amazing category. I still recommend that people play it, of course. I recommend people play every Phoenix Wright game except for maybe this one, because, I mean, this is non-canon. But, I mean, if you want to, you can. I just think that there was a lot left to be desired at the end of Dual Destinies. Like, it wasn't something that was very... that felt like... It didn't feel incomplete. It just felt like there could have been more. It felt like if you baked this game, like, you know, if you put a game in the oven, you got it out, and it was either a finished game or whatever. It was like a fully baked game, but it was missing some of, like, the condiments and seasoning that you would put on top of it. It's a good game on its own, but it's kind of plain if you're comparing it to the rest of the series. That's the way I view it. That's the way I can describe it. And Justice for All, it's fine. And it's the second game in the series, so, you know, sequel. And it has that sequel itis where it's like you anticipate it to be better than the first game, and then it's like, well, maybe not so. It just has some of the more weaker cases in the series overall, and especially the final case is undoubtedly the weakest of all of these games here. So I think that is basically what puts it at C. And again, C is still, like, great game. You could give it a try. If I were to make another tier list or another tier here, I can move this, like, down a tier, but that's honestly at that rate because it's non-canon. It's still, like, a fun game to play, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, but it's not one that, like, you have to play. Of everything past here, like, if you want to get into the Phoenix Wright series, you need to play all these games. Like, that's just plain simple. It doesn't have the Guitar Serenade. No, it doesn't. And I'm thankful that it does. You know what? Because it doesn't have the Guitar Serenade, S tier. So this is my definitive tier maker list for Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney / Ace Attorney series / Apollo Justice / Athena Psych / Edgeworth, I guess. All that stuff. And I think that, like, a lot of this... Well, I think if I had a very unpopular opinion... I'm not sure about Dual Destinies. I don't know how, like, well that game was received overall in terms of the entire fanbase. I think that my opinion, honestly, is that people would probably put Spirit of Justice lower. Like, I think if other people were making this list, people would put Spirit of Justice here. And I don't think it's a bad thing, necessarily. Again, that's still in, like, the amazing category. But I really do love the world building that was already, like, in the game that made it so unique compared to the games prior, and also literally evolving upon all the games that were prior. So I think Spirit of Justice, even though it might be different for most other people, I still really enjoy it, and it was probably my second favorite game in the series underneath Trials and Tribulations. So thank you so much for watching this. I'll probably make a highlight of this because I don't know why. Maybe people will want to watch it, I guess. But again, if before I end this highlight, future born, these two games I may be playing on stream in the future because, of course, they are actually getting localized and will be on Switch within literally like a month now. So I'm very looking forward to those. I have been looking forward to these ever since they have been on the 3DS and, like, you know, been begging for a localization. So you never know, we may play those. And then Investigations 2, of course, not a game that is legally very easy to come by, but you never know. Josh says it's fantastic. I've heard from other people it's fantastic, so one day maybe. We'll see. But thank you very much for watching this portion, or this tier list maker. If you enjoyed that, please, you can check out my other content, do whatever else. I hope you're having a fantastic night or day wherever you may be. Alright. I thought we were ending stream. Well, we have like 40 minutes left. I don't know, what else do I do for 40 minutes? Also, you want to know how stupid I was? So, you guys, nobody told me that they were not enjoying the dead silence. I completely forgot to put on this. That was supposed to be going in the background the whole time. Update the backloggery? Yeah, okay. Play Friday Night Funkin'. Ugh. Just fix it in post? I guess I can. I'll just let it go. Absolute Apollo hands. Yeah, I was just... Yeah. Oh well, it wouldn't be much stream if I didn't have like a blunder or so. Okay, let's go over here to the backloggery. Actually, how's stream looking right now? Oh, well, that doesn't really work. I got a glimpse of it for a second, that's fine. That made enough noise? I guess so. Let me go to my backlog. Go to Apolojustice. Go to, I guess completed because there's literally nothing else to do in the game, and save that. There you go. And so, on my backloggery, I now have Miitopia, Picross 4, Miitopia, of course, being one of our stream games, and then Hades. How long ago was this? 3 months ago? Yeah, I'm probably not finishing that game anytime soon, so my bad. Dang it, I feel so bad that I forgot the music, dude. That should have been going on this entire time. Just having to listen to my grating voice this entire time. Oh, Lord. You want dessert still? Well, what, do you have a cookie to get, or a cupcake, or chocolate? I don't know. There's something. Play Friday Night Funkin'. Oh, I need to get Tony's version. Your biggest pro is your background music? Ugh. I don't know what to do. It takes like 2 seconds. I know, but like, it's gonna be like a weird transition. I'll send you the link right now, yeah. I figure you have it on hand, Noah. With the demons in your head. Well, Chris, we all have those, so you know what? I guess it wasn't quite for any of us. Actually, hold on. Let me go to the away panel real quick. Do I Hades run? I guess I could switch to Hades. Download! Wait, who was the one person who voted no? It was a confused person. Why would you do that? Probably because I didn't watch it, actually. So yeah, what's after, Poke Park? It is Bug Fables, right? Because I was like, I want to play that game, so I am making a executive decision to add that to the GameCube. So there we go. Oh, also, actually, you know what? I might as well go ahead and download it, I guess. Do a solo All-Mother? That might be a little difficult. glad he beat Bug Fables before me. I mean, I had Skyward Sword to beat, I had Apollo Justice to beat, I still have Poke Park to beat. I mean, there's still some things I gotta get done, so. Yeah, I mean, but it is a good thing that you did get that done. Straighten your hair so you don't have to do it tomorrow. Probably a good idea. What all is in the game queue? So after this game, Apollo Justice, we have Poke Park, which Noah's been waiting for. Of course. We have Bug Fables after that. Then we have Brutal Legend. And then we have Mario Party 4. Which, Yellow redeemed. And I don't even have the game. But Josh is giving it to me. Or not giving it to me. Josh is letting me borrow it so I can play it on stream, so. Yeah, exactly. Now beat Sploon. You have to beat Sploon 2 before I beat Bug Fables. How about that, Yellow? Okay, I'm looking at the stuff for